Hey, it's Tom's Tech Show. Today it's kind of a rock and roll tech show because we're going to be talking about the last 3 days, and it wasn't a rock and roll weekend, but it was just a couple of days off. Rock and roll beginning of the week. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I'm a tired person because this week we did quite a few events. I've shown we have up here in my little thing. There's the Sammy Hagar Cookbook and some other Sammy Hagar things. He's a pretty cool guy if you get to know him and stuff. Watches some of his interviews. The one he did with Lance Armstrong where he talks about a lot of his charity things that he does. He's just really out there in the community trying to get people to give money to food banks and everything else. So we like to go out to any events and show them some support and everything. So the Monday we headed off to the Rainbow Bar and Grill. So here, let me switch on this. So no, those are pictures. I don't want those. I want to go to this one. Okay. So the Rainbow Bar and Grill, it's on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. So if I drag and drop, that'll get us something here. So that's the rainbow right there. If you can see this little area here, right here, there's this little area here right in front of this big gigantic sign stand there. That area there, they clear it out. They put in a small 6-inch raised, maybe 10-inch raised stage and some chairs and everything else. And they had video cameras and audio equipment because it was being broadcast on Sirius XM and the Eddie Trunk Show. So that we were there for. And so let's see. So that's kind of the chairs and stuff, how they were set up. And we didn't want us to take a lot of pictures or get up or do anything. That's everybody sitting, in the chairs or doing their interviews and talking about the new album Space Between. All the tracks I've heard are really good. I think, like Sammy has been saying, it's a concept. So we have to listen to it all the way from end to end. It comes out tomorrow. So we'll see what that ends up being. It's from what we've heard so far, everything is very cool. I mean, it's just, and Sammy being a great guy, and everybody else up there was just great. We were in the very front row here, so obviously Mrs. Tech Show, who Sammy knows her first name and is very acquainted with us with all the years that we've been going to see him. So he came down there to her, gave her hug like she likes to get and everything else. So he had also poured some Santo Tequila or Santo Mezquila around to people in the front row, which was us basically. So then they took a little group photo there. So the next night, so this is night one. So this is us driving into LA, driving down to Sunset. And then the next night, of course, is we headed off to, let's see, this is going to be down here to the Troubadour, which is a small, it's quite a small club down there. People standing outside all day to try and get into the Troubadour, so we can get up front, because Sammy has one song where he mentions in his song, right, there's upfront fanatics, right, try to tear down the barricade. Well, we're all there and we all have to be in front. So we did start the line here right in front of the building, and the guy came out and said, no, you can't be here. So we had to line up way back here. We started a line way back here where this little hump is right at these chairs. And then at one point we decided to move forward on our own, and he's like, whoa, everybody's got to move back. So we're like this whole crowd of 200 people sliding back and forth. It was hilarious. So there were a couple of guys that were there who just didn't get it, right? That were like saying they just walked up and got into the front of the line after there's like 150 people there. It was like, no, dude, you can't do that. We're all here. We all did time, right? We're all here. We were here since, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. You can't come here at 5 right before the show and walk in front of the line. I mean, that's the way lines are. Everywhere. You just don't get to walk in the front of the line. And the guy was just a real jerk, just told us to mind our own business and to go away. And it's like, no, we're not. So people like that just don't get what Sammy Hagar is about, right? They're not. Sammy Hagar is about getting a community of people together. I mean, that's part of the whole Sammy Hagar culture, is all these people in line getting to know each other, getting to be good friends, hanging out outside of other Sammy events and doing other things outside of that. I mean, I'm sure other artists have the same thing, that follow and everything else. So guy didn't get it, was probably, a complete left-wing Democrat. So, good riddance to him. He just went in and went to the bar. I'm like, well, if you're going to be, why didn't you just say that? No, you're a jerk. Okay, fine. So I have not gone through any of these pictures. I don't even know if any of them are of anything or are any good or anything at all. So that's going to be, this is going to be interesting. Okay. So, this is how close we were. That's, Vic is playing, like right in front of us. He'd walked up in front of us, and I was just popping pictures off with my phone. I really didn't want to take too many, just because, I wanted to watch the show, right? There were 200 people at this show. It was exclusive. I know that there was just the mad dash on the tickets online for people trying to get tickets to the show, get into the show, anything. And, for some people it went okay. For some people it didn't go okay. So, I know there's always a point where can we get everybody in, and stuff, and sometimes you just can't. So, but yeah, that's how close we were. Look how close we were to the Vic and his guitars. Like, that was literally 14 inches away from me. So I'm trying to. My phone has 2 lenses in the back, so I'm like, I can zoom all the way out. It's got like a wide angle lens on it and stuff. But that And of course, Sammy takes off his glasses, and my wife's always like, Mrs. Tech shows always like, Quinn, you can get pictures of him. He's got his glasses off. And then he does this. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got a picture of that. That's crazy. So, sticking his tongue out at the audience and smiling. It's all right, It was fun. Okay, so that was the end of the Troubadour night, and it was just awesome. Just loads of fun being there. Okay, so then the next night, which would be last night. So now we've gone. So Monday, I went into work at 5 a.m., worked until about 1. Worked until about 10, 11, and then we drove into the Rainbow, got there and had lunch and everything else. If you were gluten-free, vegan, and all that stuff, they have a cauliflower crust pizza with vegan cheese that is incredible. Like, you won't even believe that this is not like regular pizza. It was amazing. So then we get home from that show, that interview show. I go to work. I don't go to work. We got up and left the house at like 9 o'clock to get down to the Troubadour, and then waited all day at the Troubadour. Had the show, drove back home, got home at 12:30. I went to bed, got up at 4, and then went to work until 3 o'clock the next show, which was the iHeart Icons show. So this was a show that I don't. It was strange because they had a post on. I find this here. I gotta go to Burbank. Where's Burbank? Okay. They had a post on Facebook that said, oh, if you want to participate in this show, then fill out this little form and send it in, and we'll send you an email. And a lot of people at the Troubadour show, as we're waiting in line, are like, I didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about it. So we're telling them, it's like, listen, go to the website, go there, and fill it out. One of the guys that was there, he filled it out while in line at the Troubadour. 2 hours later, got his pass. So it's very strange. So the Troubadour show somehow gets widely published and costs $55 a ticket, and that sells out in literally 3 minutes. Then there's a free show at the iHeartRadio Theater, and almost a week after they announced it and posted it, people are still emailing and getting tickets to go. So and they were both 200 people in each set. I asked the guy with his little clicker, he's going around, counting people and everything else. I asked the guy, so how many people are here? He's got 218. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're, both shows were about the same, but one is like you could almost have walked, yesterday you could probably have walked up at, whatever time, like 5 o'clock when they started giving out wristbands, and walked up and just, said, I'd like to be on the list, and probably would have let you in. So it's very weird, but how that all happened. So the iHeartRadio Theater is here. I've heard that it's was where they used to do the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson or something was there, or somewhere around in this area, the Burbank Studios area, where the iHeart Theater is. It just looks like, this doesn't look like anything. This area here, so there's the iHeart thing. This looks like a business office, and you're just sitting there, waiting to go in this business office kind of thing. So there's a big, huge, theater inside there with a stage and everything else was all set up in there. So, so let's get back to photos. Okay, so that was the last one of the Troubadour. Okay, so then this is the Icons Theater. So it's a pretty good wide stage, and there was a little more of a gap between us and them, so we're a little bit further away. So that one actually came out pretty good. Them just jamming up there. I mean, they played, so the Troubadour show, I think they played 16 songs, 17 songs, something like that. A lot. They played a lot. They played for several hours. And this, since it was streamed on YouTube, they didn't play as many songs. They played a song, did some interview stuff, then they played 2 songs, then they did some more interview stuff, and then played some songs, then did interview stuff, and then they said, okay, we got to let the radio stations, the iHeartRadio stations that they were broadcasting to go, and then they stopped the interviews and just played like 4 more songs. And but it was fun. That was a fun show. So this show actually almost did not happen from the start. So as they were coming to the stage, there's way over here past everybody over here. I don't know if you can see the mouse kind of spinning around there. Over here on the stage, there's some probably a big step that comes up there onto the stage. Vic missed it and fell down and bashed his knee up and was on the ground. We did not know, we had no idea if there was going to even be a show. They got his guitar away from him and were there trying to help him up. No clue. Everybody's like bated breath, just like, oh no, the show's not going to happen now because Vic Johnson is now injured. Vic Johnson down. I mean, he went down hard too. It was kind of crazy. So, but it was loads of fun. They did film it and they streamed it on YouTube. They've taken the live stream down. I don't know if they eventually remix or re-edit or something and then repost it. I'm not sure. I didn't want to take a billion pictures, but I just wanted to be able to kind of, get a feel for it a little bit, and just have some memories, because I print these out. Mrs. Tech Show puts them in her journal and everything else, and she likes doing that. So, then we're back to the beginning. Okay, so, but that's been our, and that actually, it started right at, since it was streamed live on the internet, it started right at 7, and then they stopped the radio stream at 8, and then after that they played like 3 songs after that, and then they were done. So we're like out of there at 8:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what this is. We're out of a concert. It's like 8:30. What's the deal? I mean, most concerts you're like 11 o'clock, and then you got to get in your car and try and drive home and everything else, and you're getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to drag your butt to work the next day and everything else. But anyway, this one was not, it was because of the setting and everything. And this was like the release for the CD, which comes out tomorrow. So of all the songs that I've heard, I really like Affirmation is one of the best songs. They're going to do a whole like movie based on these songs. So I think it was Joe Satriani's son graduated from film school, so he's doing this as a complete project. That he's making a complete movie based on because it's a concept album, right? It's a movie based on all of these things. And the concept, I mean, just to wrap all of this together kind of thing, the concept is kind of speaks a lot. And Sammy spoke about this in the interview. So I don't know if you can go back and kind of listen to the Sirius XM interview, but also Duff from Guns N' Roses was there for the second hour of the Sirius XM interview. But they both kind of hit on one thing that, right now, in the world, of course, we have this big divide, right? There's people who are, on the right, who are right here, kind of, and then there's kind of the people that move over to the middle, and then these people who are like way off somewhere who I don't even know. I don't even know how they get there. Who are you that are way out there that mentally you're like gone, right? Just I have no idea. And that's your super left-wing politicians, your press, who are just crazed, the people that run all these social media sites. I mean, anybody who has any kind of conservative voice on Twitter and Facebook, you generally get their accounts banned for having the concept like, oh, there's really only two genders. God created man and woman. He didn't create everything else. I think man is doing that, not so they're straying from that. So by saying things like that, boom, you're attacking. No, I'm just having an opinion, right? And what they're finding, like Duff, I guess he's a very big history buff. He's travels to all different places, goes to all these historical monuments, and gets down with regular people and just talks to them. Extremely, extremely intelligent guy. And he's just saying, the people that are on the street every day doing the job, doing things that they need to, keep their families and everything safe and fed and everything else, they're not like this completely left wackiness. And of course, not even the complete far right super wackiness. I mean, but there doesn't seem to be as many of those. It's like everything from the center, flows out, right? You got a little bit, you have some people here, some people, over here a little bit and stuff. And it used to be fairly even on both sides. You got, super whacked, a little bit, only whacked about some things. Then you got people who are like, oh, I can talk, I can have common sense, I can, understand things. I'm here in this space between, which is kind of Sammy's thing here, space between all of this. Now the right is still here, but the left is like, my arm's out of the picture because they're like, way out there now for some reason. It's just crazy. But Sammy's trying to say, there's this space between where most people live. They don't live in that craziness, right? They don't want to. And the further that left goes out there, the harder it's going to be for them to convince normal people that they're the right way, they're the right path, and stuff. And it's just the Sammy's thing on his album is that there's money, and money in and of itself, just having money or anything else isn't a bad thing, right? You have money, you gotta spend money, you gotta buy food for your family, you gotta help other people, you gotta give. If you got a lot of money, then you give to charity. You don't have government come and force on you what you do with your money, which is socialism, which is the left, which is way out there whacked, right? You need to be, the way it should work, right? You as a good person, you as someone who cares about other people, if you have extra money, then you should put that into, an organization to help people who are less fortunate. Look at Bill Gates. I mean, he's trying to cure diseases around the world. He was mentioning Warren Buffett's doing a whole bunch of things, because he's got money to do that. I mean, there's always going to be people who have a lot of money who are like, no, don't take my money. I'm going to be, but those are miserable people. So they're only doing that. They're only making themselves miserable, right? They're just, but people who have money, even people who just have a little bit extra money, do something for somebody else. Don't just go, like Sammy always says, he's always there. Every concert, every city that he goes to the food bank and gives them a check directly, just right to them, not through any organization, not through any big thing, direct. He likes money going directly to people. I mean, we send money and give money to a couple different organizations because that's what we're supposed to do. If I have extra money, I'm already saving for retirements and everything else, but if you have extra, what's the harm in you providing for helping out somebody else in some way? And that's the problem with some people out there, is not the money, it's the greed. It's that money becomes their god, right? Money becomes everything about who you are, and you can never have enough money, and then that turns and just grinds you in and just digs into you and makes you a horrible person, because every minute of every day it's like, no, you're taking my money. You can't have a relationship with anybody because you might have to go to lunch with them, and then you'll have, and then you might end up having to pay for both of you for lunch, right? Because you're just ingrained in that. But if you go in with the attitude, it's like, no, I got it this time. Don't worry about it. Changes the whole conversation. It's something as simple as that. Something little as simple as that, right? But that's what they were talking about, and that's kind of the space between thing. I'm looking forward to we're getting the CD tomorrow, since we bought tickets to all these shows, Bakersfield and Acoustic for a Cure, which is next week. We're getting, I don't know how many copies, and we're already of it. So and even on the way home from the show last night, it's like, well, yeah, that's right, we're getting several copies. Well, who needs one, right? We only need one. Let's give the other one to somebody else, so it's a mindset. It's an attitude of how you live your life, right? I mean, we're relational people, right? I mean, humans are relational, to have, conversation, to have closeness, to have, all that things in common, different things. That's how, humans were created, right? So being that giving person helps to build and foster relationships. So anyway, I've gone on a little long on this one, but I'm just trying to say I'm just tired. I'm looking forward to this weekend because we are not doing any, well, we might go see Endgame again. I think that's this weekend's major event, because I think we missed like a ton of stuff last time. So, but anyway, go pick up The Space Between. Probably catch it off Amazon as a download. Give it a listen. Kind of catch the message of what's going on in it. It should be pretty good. All right. Well, I'm Tom, Tom's Tech Show. I make videos. And if you like videos about anything really, anything that's on my mind, if you like what's on my mind, and what's on my mind, if what's on my mind is on your mind, then subscribe and like, and you can hit the little bell and everything else, and then we'll be of like mind. There you go. All right. Thanks for watching.